From a woman so desperate to maintain her web of lies that she tore a baby from the womb, to another who claimed to give nose jobs with a deadly weapon, the stories of America's most infamous female killers are as shocking as they are haunting. These women didn't just take lives. They left behind chilling legacies of manipulation, obsession, and unthinkable brutality. Buckle up as we delve into the twisted tales of 5 women whose crimes will make your spine tingle and your jaw drop.
What he could want, of what he's going to take. I was wondering if he was going to kill me and then he was going to kill himself so that he didn't have to be alone.
All right.
The roads of Eau Claire, Wisconsin are usually a picture of calm. But on March 22, 2018, one such road became the stage for a horrific crime. A brutal murder that left a promising life cut short and a community reeling. Alex Woodworth was the kind of person who made you stop and think. At just 24, he was a barista with dreams of becoming a philosophy professor. Those who knew him described a thoughtful, introspective young man who loved exploring life's deeper meanings. But beneath the surface of his quiet life, a storm was brewing, one that would lead him to cross paths with someone who would change his fate forever. That someone was Ezra McCandless. Ezra's real name was Monica Kay, but by the time she met Alex in the summer of 2017, she had reinvented herself, adopted a new name and identity inspired by the adventurer Chris McCandless from Into the Wild. Ezra was artistic, magnetic, and full of contradictions. She had a way of drawing people in, but her charm masked a chaotic inner world, a world that Alex would unknowingly step into. Ezra's life was a web of entangled relationships. At 20, she was involved with Jason Mingle, a 33-year-old National Guard medic who adored her. The relationship, however, was far from perfect. Jason was mature, stable, and deeply invested in Ezra, but Ezra often seemed to crave more excitement and more attention. Her relationship with Jason was marked by jealousy and frequent arguments, yet he kept coming back, drawn by her charm and emotional intensity. Enter Alex Woodworth. Alex was everything Jason was not: gentle, introspective, and quiet. Ezra and Alex's connection quickly grew as they bonded over shared interests and deep conversations. To Alex, Ezra was captivating and full of life. To Ezra, Alex offered a sense of understanding and emotional depth that seemed to balance her otherwise chaotic life. For months, Ezra juggled both relationships, expertly weaving her web of manipulation. But secrets can only stay hidden for so long. By February 2018, the delicate balance Ezra had maintained began to collapse. Jason discovered her infidelity and the fallout was immediate. Confrontations followed, with Jason demanding answers and Ezra deflecting blame. In the midst of this turmoil, Ezra leaned even more heavily on Alex, who was unaware of just how tangled the situation had become.
Okay here? Okay. Somebody called us kind of worried because they saw Jason come over here and he was going in the car and they weren't sure what was going on.
No. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine? Okay. Do you guys have any ID with you?
Yeah.
I got to write a report here. They came over and talked with you guys. They were just a little worried because they saw the car running over here and they weren't sure what was going on and all that jazz.
Sorry for all this,
It's okay. It's okay. I'd rather come here and check and it be nothing than have something bad happening. Okay. There you go. You guys are good to go. Thank you. Yep. We're good to go. Everything's good. They're okay. Everything's fine. I'll take care of it too. No problem. All right. You have a good day.
Ezra's manipulative tendencies began to take center stage. She would promise Jason she was committed to him, only to turn around and confide in Alex about her struggles. She played the victim, painting herself as a misunderstood young woman caught between two men. But the truth was far darker. Ezra seemed to thrive on the chaos she created, using it to keep both Jason and Alex firmly under her control. On March 22, 2018, Ezra invited Alex on a drive. She told him they needed to talk. The pair drove into the countryside, leaving the bustle of Eau Claire behind. What Alex thought would be a conversation turned into something far darker. By the time the car stopped on a remote rural road, Ezra's facade of control had shattered completely. The details of what happened next are as chilling as they are murky. Alex was stabbed 16 times in the head, neck, and torso. Blood pooled in and around the car, the carnage bearing witness to the violence of the attack. His body was left half hanging out of the back seat. Ezra, barefoot and covered in blood, stumbled to a nearby farmhouse. She claimed she had been attacked and couldn't remember what had happened.
Before we started driving again.
Okay.
And it was just because I remember it happening, like being grabbed and just feeling hurt and anxious, and then it just starts getting really, really dark, fuzzy for me. Just feeling so anxious.
Okay. And so how does your arm get cut up?
Alex, he grabbed it, and then he kept telling me about being a boy and stuff like that, how frustrating it is. And then he threatened me.
What do you mean he threatened you?
He didn't say he was gonna do something, but he grabbed me and started doing something.
What do you mean he started doing something?
He started carving something into my arm.
Where is this?
But investigators soon discovered that Ezra's story didn't add up. The blood evidence suggested Alex had been dragged, not attacked, inside the car as she claimed. Even more damning was the word boy carved into Ezra's arm, a wound that appeared self-inflicted. It was as if she were staging herself as a victim in the macabre drama she had orchestrated. During the investigation, people started to notice how Ezra often tried to manipulate the situations. Her friends said she could be moody and controlling, and she would sometimes lose her temper in big outbursts. Jason Mingle, her boyfriend, talked about how unhealthy her relationship was, saying it seemed like Ezra enjoyed stirring up trouble. And Alex? He got stuck right in the middle of it all, completely unaware of the dangerous situation he was in.
After this incident, did you do anything to yourself? Did you harm yourself in any way?
No, I didn't want to.
You said, well, what happened?
I didn't harm myself.
You didn't?
No, when I fell, I hurt my hand and I bit my toe.
Okay. And then the boy carved in your arm. Okay. The part that throws me off on that is if I'm sitting here and he's going to be carving it in, it's written perfect with a right-hand person like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if he would have written it in, it would have been reversed, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did boy get put in your arm? He didn't do that to you, did he? You carved boy into your own arm. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When did that happen?
That happened when I was in the car.
In the car with him? Or why? When
I was in the car after I woke up the second time.
So after you stabbed him and you came back into it, as you put it, because you blacked out, that's when you carved this?
The trial that followed in October 2019 captivated the nation. Prosecutors portrayed Ezra as a cold, calculating killer who saw Alex as an obstacle in her relationship with Jason. They argued that she lured Alex to his death, eliminating him in an act of premeditated violence. The defense countered with claims of self-defense, painting Alex as troubled and dangerous. They suggested that Ezra had acted out of fear for her life. But the evidence told a different story. Witnesses recounted Ezra's erratic behavior and manipulative tendencies. Forensic experts debunked her claims of self-defense, highlighting the staged nature of her injuries. And Alex's friends and family shared heartfelt memories of a gentle soul whose life had been senselessly cut short. On November 1st, 2019, the jury delivered its verdict, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Ezra J. McCandless, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in the information. And the answer to the special verdict question is yes, use a dangerous weapon. And you may be seated.
Ezra McCandless was sentenced to life in prison, with a possibility of parole after 50 years. For Alex's family, the verdict was a measure of justice, but no sentence could erase the pain of losing him. Ezra McCandless' tale of manipulation and jealousy may leave you questioning how far someone can go to control their narrative. But what happens when a web of lies grows so large that it leads to a crime too monstrous to comprehend?
I found a woman this morning on the side of the road, and her baby had been removed from her body. And then you show up with a baby, and the information is you've had a hysterectomy. There's no way you could have been pregnant, even though you've been telling people for a while you've been pregnant. There's no way you could have been pregnant.
Enter Taylor Renee Parker, a woman whose deceit culminated in an act of unparalleled brutality. In the heart of New Boston, Texas, life usually moved at a gentle pace. Nestled in the quiet embrace of a small-town charm, it was the kind of place where neighbors waved hello and families felt safe. But on October 9, 2020, this tranquil community became the backdrop for a nightmare so harrowing it defied comprehension. The horror that unfolded that day revealed the depths of human deceit, embodied by a woman who would stop at nothing to maintain a deadly illusion.
So you still her baby? I don't think that was the case. I mean, you don't seem like that type of person, man.
I didn't kill anybody.
Where'd this baby come from? We're past all of that. Taylor, we're past that.
I did not kill anybody. I didn't kill anybody.
So was she alive when you left?
I wasn't with them.
Taylor Renee Parker had always presented herself as ordinary, perhaps even likable. Her life seemed normal enough. With cheerful social media posts chronicling her supposed pregnancy, friends and family celebrated alongside her as she announced she was expecting. She hosted a gender reveal party where pink confetti rained down amid joyful cheers. She posted glowing updates about baby names, nursery themes, and cravings that seemed to evolve by the day. But beneath the surface of her carefully curated world lay a chilling secret. Taylor Parker was not pregnant. The truth was that Parker's entire pregnancy was an elaborate fabrication, a desperate ploy to keep her boyfriend from leaving her. She meticulously staged every detail, even going so far as to purchase a prosthetic baby bump and produce fake sonograms. But as her fictitious due date approached, the pressure mounted. How would she explain the absence of a child? Her desperation gave birth to a plan so sinister it would devastate more lives than her own. Reagan Simmons Hancock was the kind of person people gravitated toward. At just 21 years old, she had a magnetic warmth about her, happily married, pregnant with her second child, and already a doting mother to her 3-year-old daughter. Reagan's life radiated joy. Her days were filled with laughter, the anticipation of her new baby's arrival, and the love of her family. She welcomed Taylor Parker into her life, not as a suspecting victim, but as a trusted friend. Parker began visiting Reagan more frequently, ingratiating herself into her daily life. She came bearing advice, gifts, and the guise of support. Reagan, kind-hearted and trusting, couldn't have known that Parker's friendship was a calculated move, an opportunity to learn her routine, her vulnerabilities, and most tragically, to plan the unthinkable. That morning began like so many others in the Simmons-Hancock household. The October air was crisp. The house hummed with quiet anticipation for the day ahead. Reagan, 7 months pregnant and full of warmth, tended to her morning routine, her 3-year-old daughter nearby. When Taylor Parker arrived, she carried with her a smile as false as the pregnancy she had fabricated. Beneath that smile was a chilling intent, sharp as the scalpel hidden in her belongings. Inside the home, the atmosphere shifted in an instant. Parker's friendly facade dissolved into a frenzied attack. She lunged at Reagan with terrifying savagery, stabbing her over 100 times in a brutal act of betrayal. Reagan fought with everything she had, but Parker's monstrous determination seemed unrelenting. Blood spilled across the room as Reagan's strength began to fail, her cries silenced by the sheer ferocity of the assault. In those final moments, a life filled with love and promise was extinguished, leaving behind devastation that would ripple far beyond those walls. What happened next turned the gruesome into the unimaginable. Parker, with chilling precision, used her scalpel to perform a crude cesarean section, cutting Reagan's unborn baby from her womb. Reagan's 3-year-old daughter was in the house during the attack, her innocent world shattered by sights and sounds no child should ever endure. A blood pooled in the home that had been filled with love just moments before. Parker fled, clutching the baby as her grotesque prize. The escape was doomed from the start. Parker, cradling the lifeless baby, drove recklessly, trying to put distance between herself and the horrific scene she had left behind. A Texas state trooper pulled her over for speeding and erratic driving. Parker claimed she had just given birth on the side of the road, but her story unraveled almost immediately. The baby was rushed to a hospital in Idabel, Oklahoma, where medical staff quickly determined Parker had not recently given birth.
So, it surely doesn't look like a baby came out of there. It doesn't look like she had a baby.
It doesn't?
No.
Okay.
Does not look like she had a baby there.
Meanwhile, back in New Boston, Reagan's mother discovered the horrifying aftermath at her daughter's home and called 911. The pieces fell into place with shocking speed. Investigators linked the crime scene to Parker, her lies unraveling in the harsh light of day.
You just butchered this lady and left her to rot on the side of the road. So she's still a baby.
I didn't kill anybody.
Where'd this baby come from?
She was arrested, her carefully constructed web of deceit finally collapsing around her. The trial that followed captivated the nation, a gruesome spectacle that revealed the chilling depths of Parker's deceit. Prosecutors meticulously detailed her elaborate scheme, the fake sonograms, the prosthetic belly, the gender reveal party, and the growing desperation that drove her to commit an unthinkable act. Witnesses recounted her escalating lies and manipulations, painting a portrait of a woman consumed by her own lies. The jury was shown haunting crime scene photos and listened to the anguished 911 call from Reagan's mother. Expert testimony outlined the brutality of the attack, the deliberate planning behind it, and the devastating loss of both Reagan and her unborn child. Parker's defense argued that the baby was not born alive, attempting to challenge the kidnapping charge, but the jury was unmoved. After less than 2 hours of deliberation, they delivered their verdict, guilty on all counts, including capital murder.
A jury convicted Taylor Parker on October 3rd of capital murder and kidnapping in the death of 21-year-old Reagan Hancock and her unborn baby Braxton Sage. From there, it took the state about 3 weeks and the defense another 2 to present the same jury evidence and testimony to help them determine whether Taylor Parker would get the death penalty or life in prison. Well, this week, the jury finally deliberated and chose to sentence Parker with the death penalty.
On November 9, 2022, the court sentenced Taylor Renee Parker to death. In the courtroom, Reagan's family spoke through tears, their voices trembling with grief and anger. "You tore her open and ripped her baby from her stomach," one family member said. "You destroyed her daughter's life, and for what? A lie?" The shadow of Parker's crime lingers over New Boston, a scar that will never fully heal. For Reagan's family, the loss is immeasurable. Her memory lives on in the hearts of those who loved her, a bright light extinguished far too soon. While Taylor Renee Parker's horrifying crime shocked a small Texas town, Dalia DiPolito's chilling plot to kill her husband unfolded on a stage designed for deception. In a case that blurred the lines between true crime and reality TV, her sinister plans exposed the dark side of charm and ambition.
Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, ma'am, he's been killed. He's dead. He's been killed, man. I'm sorry.
No, he's not.
Listen.
No.
Try to calm down. Listen, right now we need to get you...
On the morning of August 5th, 2009, the Boynton Beach Police Department orchestrated a sting operation that would expose a chilling murder-for-hire plot. The target was Michael DiPolito, a local businessman, the mastermind, his wife, Delia DiPolito. Delia and Michael's story had begun just a year earlier, in October 2008, under circumstances that raised eyebrows. Michael, eager to leave behind a troubled past and start anew, met Delia when she was working as a professional escort. Their connection was immediate, and Michael was captivated by her charm and beauty. Despite the unconventional beginnings of their relationship, they married in February 2009. The outsiders, their life together seemed idyllic, but beneath the surface of their brief marriage, darker motives simmered. By mid-2009, Delia wanted out of the marriage, but a divorce wasn't part of her plan. She craved financial freedom, and for that, Michael had to be removed permanently. Delia confided her sinister intentions to Mohammed Shiadeh, a former lover and trusted confidant. She wanted Michael dead, and she wanted Shiadeh's help to make it happen. Horrified, Shiadeh did what any decent person would. He went to the police. The Boynton Beach Police devised an elaborate plan to catch Delia red-handed. They introduced her to an undercover officer posing as a hitman. Over several meetings, which were all recorded, Delia revealed the depths of her determination. "I'm 5,000% sure," she told the supposed hitman, her voice cold and resolute.
When it's done, you're not going to have an option to change your mind. Even if you change your mind, you're not talking to him.
There's no changing. No, there's no, I'm determined already. I'm positive, 5,000% sure. I was stressing when you told me you were going to come up here, and then I'm looking at the time. I'm what the fuck? He's not coming. He's not this. It's all this stuff or whatever. No, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. As soon as he told me, listen, I need the money from you, I went. I grabbed it right away. We were good to go. With me, you're not going to have a problem. You're not going to have an issue. You know what I mean? Nothing of nothing.
She detailed the timeline for the murder, suggesting it be staged as a robbery gone wrong, and handed over a down payment to seal the deal. On the morning of the staged murder, Delia left for the gym, leaving Michael alone at home. The Boynton Beach Police, fully aware of her deadly plan, seized the opportunity to act. They arrived at the house shortly after Delia had left and informed Michael that they needed him to come to the station under the pretense of addressing a probation violation. Obviously oblivious to his wife's true intentions, Michael complied and left with the officers, setting the stage for what was to come. While Michael was out of the house, the police began setting the stage. They transformed the DiPolito home into a fake crime scene, complete with yellow tape and officers somberly pacing the property. Michael, meanwhile, was informed of his wife's plot. The revelation was devastating. He had trusted Delia, loved her, and now had to grapple with the horrifying reality that she wanted him dead. Delia, unaware that her husband was alive and that her every move had been monitored, returned home to what she thought was the aftermath of a successful hit. As she approached the house, officers informed her that her husband had been murdered. Her reaction was captured on video. She sobbed, clutched at her chest, and pleaded for answers.
I'm Sergeant Ramsey. I'm the one that called you. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry to call you. Listen, we had a report of a disturbance at your house, and there were shots fired. Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, ma'am. He's been killed. No. He's been killed, ma'am. I'm sorry.
No, he's not.
Listen.
No.
To anyone watching, she appeared to be a devastated widow, but the performance wouldn't last. Delia was brought to the police station for questioning.
Get over here. Get over here. You know who this guy is?
No.
You've never seen him before?
I've never seen him before. Ever.
Do you know her?
Put your head up and look at her.
Put your head up.
I've never seen him.
What were you doing coming out of her house? Get him out of here.
As she sat in the interrogation room, the supposed hitman entered. The realization hit her like a freight train. She had been caught. The police confronted her with the recorded conversation, her detailed planning, and the payments she had made. Her protest of innocence fell flat against the overwhelming evidence.
You're going to jail today for solicitation of murder. You're under arrest. That's an undercover police officer. We filmed everything that you did, recorded everything that you did. You're going to jail for solicitation of first-degree murder of your husband.
I didn't do anything.
Did you hear what I just told you?
I heard what you said, but I didn't
Everything,
do anything.
listen to me. Everything has been recorded. You were photographed in the convertible when you sat in his car in the front of CVS. What do you want to do? What do you want to do here?
I didn't
Dahlia?
do anything.
Listen to
I
me.
didn't do anything.
You're going to
I
jail.
didn't do anything, please. I didn't do anything.
Tell me you didn't do anything.
I didn't do anything.
You're going to jail today. As soon as I'm done, they're going to come in here and handcuff you and take you to the Palm Beach County Jail, book you for solicitation of first-degree murder on your husband. Your husband is well and alive.
Thank God.
Oh, yeah, thank God.
Can I see him?
No, he doesn't want to see you.
I so wanted to see him.
The trial that followed became a media sensation. Prosecutors presented the recordings, letting Dahlia's own words condemn her. They painted her as a cold and calculating woman who viewed her husband as an obstacle to her ambitions. The defense argued entrapment, claiming the operation was more about creating a spectacle for TV cameras than justice. After all, parts of the sting had been filmed for the show Cops. Despite the defense's efforts, the jury was unconvinced. In 2011, Dahlia was convicted of solicitation to commit first-degree murder and sentenced to 20 years in prison. But her story didn't end there. In 2014, an appellate court overturned the conviction due to procedural error, including issues with jury selection. A second trial in 2016 ended in a mistrial after the jury deadlocked. By the time her third trial began in 2017, public interest in the case had only intensified.
In an exclusive pretrial interview with 2020 this past December, DiPolito said she's just misunderstood. Her explanation, she was simply acting.
This is supposed to be something you guys are going to put online so that you can get publicity.
On social media, yeah.
On social media.
Right. So we can try to get an acting job.
Because she's now facing a new trial after her first conviction was overturned on a technicality. But yesterday, there was no avoiding them. She's forced to watch that moment we've all seen again and again.
5,000% Charlotte.
That's all Amanda told you to say, right?
Yes, he told me to say that.
Yeah, you're 5,000% sure, you're ready to go.
I needed to project confidence, and yeah, but that's what he told me. I needed to make it look believable.
Gotcha.
Perhaps the most surreal moment in the courtroom, when the prosecutor plays an audio tape of her trying to explain to her then husband Mike that she actually didn't pay to have him killed.
Mike, please, I needed to tell you, can you please help me? It's not the truth. You said you wanted to have me killed. I heard that. It's not.
Of course, according to her, Mike was in on the performance from the very beginning. So why, asks the prosecutor, is she trying so hard to convince?
The third trial was as dramatic as the first. Once again, prosecutors laid out the evidence, and once again, the jury found her guilty. This time, Dahlia was sentenced to 16 years in prison. Her subsequent appeals were denied and her fate was sealed. The Dahlia DiPolito case wasn't just a crime, it was a spectacle. The dramatic sting operation, the courtroom battles, and the bizarre twists and turns made it a story that captivated the nation. Dahlia's composed demeanor during the undercover recordings and her performative grief at the fake crime scene painted a chilling portrait of a woman who seemed detached from the gravity of her actions. Today, Dahlia remains behind bars. Her case continues to fascinate true crime enthusiasts, not just for its shocking details, but for what it reveals about human nature. It's a story of greed, betrayal, and the chilling lengths some will go to for personal gain. Dahlia DiPolito's cold and calculated scheme seemed like the ultimate betrayal until we look at the case of Jodi Arias, a story of obsessive love spiraling into madness Her shocking crime turned a whirlwind romance into a tale of unimaginable violence.
Travis Alexander never had a chance. 27 stab wounds, a gunshot to the face, his throat slit ear to ear.
In the annals of true crime, some stories grip the public with force that refuses to let go. The case of Jodi Arias and Travis Alexander is one of those stories. It's a tale of love turned toxic, or obsession spiraling into madness, and ultimately a horrifying act of violence that shocked the nation.
No jury is going to convict me.
Why not?
Because I'm innocent, and you can mark my words on that one. No jury will convict me.
Travis Alexander seemed to have it all. Charismatic, motivational speaker, and successful salesman, Travis was the kind of person people were drawn to. He had worked hard to overcome a troubling childhood and was deeply committed to his Mormon faith. He dreamed big, inspiring others with his optimism and drive. But beneath the surface of his promising life, a storm was brewing. That storm had a name: Jodi Arias. When Travis met Jodi in September 2006 at a business conference in Las Vegas, sparks flew. She was beautiful, magnetic, and willing to embrace his faith, even converting to Mormonism to deepen their connection. Their whirlwind romance quickly became the talk of their friends, but what started as passion soon morphed into something much darker. Their relationship was intense, marked by a heady mix of devotion and dysfunction. Travis's friends began noticing Jodi's troubling behavior. She would follow him uninvited to social events, hacked into his personal accounts, and leave long accusatory messages when he didn't respond quickly enough. Jodi's journals painted a picture of a woman consumed by love and by a growing desperation to hold on to Travis at any cost. Despite breaking up in 2007, their physical relationship continued, a secret they hid from friends and family. Travis, on the other hand, felt guilty about straying from his faith. Jodi, on the other, clung to the hope that their intimacy would bring them back together. By early 2008, Travis had started pulling away for good. He planned a vacation to Cancun with a female friend and spoke openly about wanting to move on. For Jodi, this was the ultimate betrayal. Her journals took on a darker tone filled with anger and heartbreak. The woman who had once been infatuated with Travis now seemed fixated on him in an entirely different way. On June 9, 2008, Travis's friend discovered his lifeless body in the shower of his Mesa, Arizona home. The scene was beyond gruesome. Travis had been stabbed 27 times. His throat had been slit from ear to ear, and he had been shot in the head. Blood spattered the walls, telling a story of a violent struggle. The discovery left everyone asking, who could have done this?
Hello.
Hi, so what's going on?
He's dead. He's in his bedroom.
Okay.
In the shower.
Okay. How did this happen? Do you have any idea?
No, we have no idea. Everyone's been wondering about him for a few days.
She said that there was blood. So is it coming from his head? Did he cut his wrist?
It's all over the place.
Has he been threatened by anyone recently?
Yes, he has. Okay. He has an ex-girlfriend that's been bothering him and following him and slashing tires and things like that.
And do you know the ex-girlfriend's name?
Her name is Jodi. No, he hasn't reported anything about Jodi's behavior.
From the start, suspicion fell on Jodi. Her behavior raised eyebrows. She posted happy photos on social media after the murder and attended Travis's memorial service, maintaining an air of innocence. When questioned by police, her story shifted. First, she claimed she wasn't in Mesa. Then she concocted a tale about masked intruders. Finally, she landed on a claim of self-defense, painting Travis as an abusive partner.
I wasn't there.
To be honest with you, Jodi.
I was not at Travis's house. I was not.
You were at Travis's house. You guys had a sexual encounter, which there's pictures. I know you know there's pictures, because I have them.
Those pictures were recovered from the memory card of a digital camera police found in his washing machine. According to investigators, a photo taken at 1:40 p.m. shows Arias posing nude on Alexander's bed. Later, at 5:22 p.m., a photo was taken and deleted, showing Alexander naked in the shower. Then at 5:30 p.m., another photo of Alexander. Police say just 2 minutes later, he was dead.
But the evidence told a different story. Investigators found a damaged digital camera in Travis's washing machine. Recovered photos painted a chilling timeline. Intimate moments between Travis and Jody, followed by haunting images of Travis bleeding. DNA evidence, including a bloody palm print, tied Jody directly to the scene. Additional evidence like gas receipts showing she had taken steps to avoid being tracked during her trip pointed to premeditation. On July 15, 2008, Jody Arias was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Her mugshot, a calm, almost smirking face, would become infamous. When Jody Arias' trial began in January 2013, it quickly became a media circus. Cameras rolled as every salacious detail of their relationship was laid bare. The courtroom was a theater of drama, with Jody's defense painting her as a victim and the prosecution depicting her as a calculating killer. The trial exposed the darkest corners of their relationship. Travis had sent Jody text messages calling her a sociopath and the worst thing that ever happened to me, while also engaging in flirtatious and sexual exchanges with her. The prosecution argued this toxic dynamic was evidence of Jody's obsession and Travis's attempts to break free. Jody's own testimony included graphic details about their sex life, painting Travis as a man who manipulated her emotions while exploiting their physical connection. It was a strategy designed to elicit sympathy, but for many, it came across as an attempt to assassinate Travis's character. Prosecutor Juan Martinez's fiery style made headlines as he tore into Jody's ever-changing stories. In one dramatic moment, he confronted her with the recovered photos, forcing her to explain the progression from intimacy to violence. Jody remained composed under pressure, a fact that unnerved both the jury and the public. Jody's testimony was the centerpiece of the trial. Over 18 days on the stand, she recounted her version of events, claiming she killed Travis in self-defense after he attacked her during an argument. Her performance was polarizing. Some saw her as a traumatized victim, while others saw a master manipulator spinning a web of lies to save herself. After months of testimony, the jury reached its verdict on May 8, 2013. Guilty of first-degree murder.
The State of Arizona versus Jody Ann Arias, verdict, count 1. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn, in the above entitled action, upon our oaths, do find the defendant as to count 1, first-degree murder, guilty.
The conviction brought relief to Travis's family, who had endured the agonizing trial with quiet dignity. But the drama didn't end there. During the sentencing phase, the jury deadlocked on whether to impose the death penalty. In 2015, Jody was finally sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
I don't know. I just feel overwhelmed.
Was it unexpected, you think, this verdict?
It was unexpected for me, yes, because there was no premeditation on my part. I can see how things look that way, but I didn't expect the premeditation. I could see maybe the felony murder because of how the law is written, but I didn't. The whole time I was fairly confident I wouldn't get premeditation because there was no premeditation.
Today, Jody Arias resides in the Arizona State Prison Complex in Perryville. Even in prison, she has managed to remain a subject of fascination. She's given interviews, sold her artwork online, and maintained a following of supporters who believe in her innocence. For Travis's loved ones, however, the pain of his loss remains raw. The story of Jody Arias and Travis Alexander is a haunting reminder of how obsession can spiral into violence. It's a case that highlights the darkest corners of human behavior and the devastating consequences of toxic relationships. For true crime enthusiasts, this case remains one of the most captivating, not just for its shocking details, but for the way it forces us to grapple with uncomfortable questions about love, control, and the length to which someone might go when their world begins to crumble. Jody Arias' brutal actions may feel like the pinnacle of obsession, but Shayna Hubert's case takes us to the quiet streets of Kentucky, where jealousy and heartbreak erupted in a tragic act of violence that left even investigators stunned.
that she shot her boyfriend in self-defense.
A grand jury has indicted a northern Kentucky woman.
Young Kentucky woman accused of brutally killing her boyfriend, shooting him 6 times, and then boasting that she, quote, gave him the nose job he always wanted.
Highland Heights, Kentucky is the kind of place where crime feels like a distant thought, a plot device for television rather than real life. But on the night of October 12, 2012, the quiet suburban streets bore witness to a chilling tale of obsession and violence, a story that would captivate the nation. Ryan Poston, a 29-year-old attorney with movie star looks and an Ivy League mind, was the pride of his family and a rising star in the legal world. But behind the confident exterior was a man trapped in a relationship that had gone dangerously off course. That relationship was with Shayna Hubers, a 21-year-old psychology graduate with charm to spare, but demons lurking beneath the surface. What began as a romance soon devolved into a volatile cocktail of jealousy, control, and ultimately murder. Ryan Poston had everything going for him. Born in Fort Mitchell, Kentucky, he was well educated, having studied history, political science, and law. He was known for his sharp intellect and even sharper wit, but Ryan's greatest asset might have been his heart. Family and friends described him as a kind, generous, and someone who lit up every room he walked into. Shayna Hubers was no less impressive on paper. Psychology student who graduated cum laude from the University of Kentucky. She was pursuing a master's degree in school counseling, but for all her academic accolades, Shayna struggled with deep insecurities and an obsessive personality that became glaringly apparent in her relationship with Ryan. The two met in 2011 through mutual friends on Facebook. At first, the connection seemed like a match made in modern dating heaven, but as time went on, the cracks began to show. Ryan, by all accounts, was trying to free himself from a relationship he found suffocating. Shayna, on the other hand, wasn't ready to let go. She texted him constantly, showed up uninvited, and even threatened self-harm to keep him close. Shayna's obsession with Ryan was apparent to those who knew them. She sent an alarming number of messages, sometimes over 100 a day. She would appear at his condo unannounced, refusing to leave until Ryan would reluctantly let her in. Friends later recounted how Shayna would manipulate situations to ensure Ryan stayed with her, often making dramatic claims about her mental health or threatening to harm herself if he ended the relationship. On one occasion, she went as far as texting Ryan's friend, asking them to intervene on her behalf. Ryan, however, had reached his breaking point. After numerous attempts to end the relationship, he finally decided to move on. His decision became concrete in the fall of 2012 when he planned a date with Audrey Bolt, Miss Ohio USA 2012. For Ryan, it was a chance at a fresh start. For Shayna, it was the ultimate betrayal. On the night of October 12, 2012, Shayna arrived at Ryan's condo. The details of what transpired next remain hotly contested. But what we do know is this. The end of the night, Ryan Poston was dead, shot 6 times, including twice in the face.
Hubers drove over to Poston's apartment outside Cincinnati where she confronted him. She claimed she shot him in self-defense.
I grabbed the gun and I shot him.
Shayna was the one who called 911. "I just killed my boyfriend in self-defense," she told the dispatcher in an eerily calm tone. She claimed Ryan had been abusive and that she feared for her life. But her behavior during the subsequent police interrogation raised more questions than it answered. During her interrogation, Shayna's credibility began to unravel. She joked about the murder, saying she gave him the nose job he always wanted, referring to the shot she fired into his face. At one point, she reenacted the shooting for investigators, treating it like a weird performance. Her demeanor was unsettling. She laughed, sang, and even flirted with officers, showing none of the remorse one might expect from someone claiming self-defense.
I did. Yes, I did. I can't believe I did that.
These bizarre actions painted a picture of someone who was either detached from reality or desperately trying to manipulate the narrative. Shayna's first trial in 2015 was a media spectacle. The prosecution painted her as a woman consumed by jealousy, unable to accept that Ryan was moving on. They argued that Shayna's obsessive behavior resulted in cold-blooded murder when she realized she couldn't control him any longer. The defense, however, portrayed Shayna as a victim, someone who had endured emotional abuse and snapped in a moment of self-defense. But Shayna's own words during police questioning undermine her claims. Jokes about the murder and her unsettling calmness did little to bolster her claims of being a victim. After just 5 hours of deliberation, the jury returned a guilty verdict. Shayna was sentenced to 40 years in prison with eligibility for parole after 20 years. 2016, Shayna's conviction was overturned. The reason? One of the jurors in her trial had failed to disclose a prior felony conviction, making them ineligible to serve. The reversal gave Shayna another shot at freedom, or at least a chance to tell her story again. The retrial in 2018 was almost a replay of the first. The prosecution leaned heavily on evidence of Shayna's obsession and her disturbing post-murder behavior. The defense stuck to their narrative of self-defense, emphasizing Ryan's alleged emotional abuse, but the jury wasn't swayed. Shayna was once again found guilty, this time sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole after 20 years.
So how have you changed? You referenced that you're much older now and that you've changed. So how have you changed? How are you different than October 2012?
I think I've grown up a lot, and I think I've been through a lot, and I think I was a young girl then, and I think I'm a woman now. And I think that...
Do you think you would handle situations differently now then?
Yeah, I think I would handle things differently now as a 27-year-old than I did as a 21-year-old.
Today, Shayna Huber sits in the Kentucky Correctional Institute for Women. Her earliest chance for parole will come in 2032. But for Ryan's family, no amount of time sentence will heal the wounds left by his loss.